Coming up on Relatable Baddies Book Club.
And then she's about to die and she goes, love. The answer is love.
Yeah.
And then, from there,
Yeah.
because Amarantha word for word said, if you get the answer right to my riddle immediately. Welcome to Relatable's Baddies Book Club, where we will embark on a journey reading some of the finest pieces of literature you have ever laid eyes, or ears, if that's your preferred way to consume a book, on.
Oh, no.
A Court of Thorns and Roses. Chapters 37 to the end.
This is exciting, Jake.
The finale.
The big finale. And so much has happened.
Yeah, so this is its own episode. So we won't feel the need to
Be rushed.
do any rushing. I've even gone with some more in-depth notes. I'll explain how I did it. But first, we need to preface, thank you everybody for coming to the book club.
Yeah, the support. And we read the comments and we saw a lot of people saying, special for the finale.
Yes.
Special.
Thank you guys all for joining us in the book club if you're reading along. And I will say, the Instagram, the channel that we have on our Instagram. If you go on our Instagram, you can see there's a Baddies Book Club channel. If you go on there, join the channel. I think there's about 3,000 baddies in there right now. So I know we can get that up higher because we're done Acotar now. We can still do some posting in there, but once we start the next book, which we will order on this episode, right before your eyes, but we found out today that you guys can reply.
Yeah, we didn't know that.
Each individual message we send, and you can even reply to other baddies. So there can be conversations had in there. We always thought it was just
us.
We message, you react, but opposite, which is great.
And with this new episode, this is the start of new things, Jake.
Start of new things.
Yeah, we're excited to announce that Friday episodes of Stimulated will be no more.
Oh.
Everyone got too stimulated, as we mentioned on the main episode, but from here on out, we are going to be releasing the Baddies Book Club as their very own episodes every single Friday.
Starting next week.
Yeah.
Because this is out on Monday. So this Friday coming up, if you're listening to this when it comes out,
It's
there will be a simulated.
But
Last one.
When it happens, you'll figure it out. But to preface, our new format is Monday normal episode, Thursday Patreon, Friday Baddies Book Club, and we know some of you baddies can't wait.
Yes.
So every single Monday, if you want the Baddies Book Club episodes early, they will be on Patreon.
On Monday.
For $5 a month, and you also get the extra episode on Thursday. So good bang for your
The
buck.
value on Patreon's crazy. There's also a year and a half to coming up close to 2 years worth of episodes to binge.
Yeah, the best thing for us to see and hear is when people start at the very start of our episodes and they say, we'd love to see your growth. Scary for us.
Scary for us, yes.
Because we don't want to go back and listen to how bad we were.
Let's not bring anything up from there either.
But even the start of Patreon to where we're at now, I think our character development, like the character development in Acotar, is quite exciting.
Yes.
The confidence we get.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So let's so that's that.
Lights are on.
Lights are on. Go sign up to Patreon and support the cause and become part of where the baddies unite. That's where they unite.
Yeah, and I think we've done this too because of how much support you've given.
Yes.
So
this is honestly
fun.
A year ago, if you told me we were doing a book club and we turned it into its own thing, I just would not have believed you.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun.
I tell you what it is.
So excited.
Frontal lobe development.
It is. 100% is.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I couldn't agree more. So what I did this week, Oddie, was last week I did my own little 2-sentence summaries of the chapters, right?
That's what I've done this week.
This week, I went through the effort of, I took a photo of every single page of each chapter, put it into ChatGPT, and I said, turn this into 5 sentences for me. Summarize this into 5 sentences. So ChatGPT has read chapter 37 to 46 and summarized each individual chapter into 5 sentences, just so I wanted to paint a better picture for the baddies.
That's still good. I was going to give you so much praise thinking you'd done something amazing.
Yeah, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, because you texted me and said,
I reckon this is amazing.
You were like, I've got the best idea. Can we record a little bit later?
How long it took me?
It's still good. I'm giving you some praise, but it's still using ChatGPT. But kick us off, Jake, we stopped at chapter 37.
Yes.
And shit's about to hit the fan.
Okay, I think the best thing to do for this quickly is to remember what were our
Predictions
last
Let's
week.
remember our predictions and then say our thoughts on the next chapters too, before we get into
So
it.
what was your prediction? Because I'm pretty sure
I was semi-right.
you had a good one.
I landed. I
You
did
landed
land.
hard on the prediction.
I can't really say it because it will give away one of the chapters, but
Yeah.
my predictions were Freya. Sorry. That's the only time I'm going to say it wrong. Feyre. Yeah. That after we've done 6 Baddies book clubs. Feyre. If I say it once more wrong, I'm going to be so pissed when I edit it. Feyre and Rhysand team up and somehow beat Amarantha, I said. And I also said, did I say Feyre will become a fairy?
You said Feyre gains powers.
Yes.
And you said that Feyre and Rhysand team up to beat Amarantha. And what we're going to say right now is Oddie landed on part of that. All right?
Yeah.
So.
What did you say again? You wanted some threesome or something?
I stand by.
I was reading that.
I stand by my love triangle theory. And what's going to happen is it's going on into the next book. It has to.
When the book finished in the last scene with Rhysand and Feyre,
there you go.
I was like, this is very much alluding to when she's like, oh,
yes,
don't forget about what we said.
Yeah. So but that was the predictions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thoughts and feelings
is I'm happy.
I'm happy too.
My mind's blown.
Yeah, my mind's blown too.
My mind's absolutely blown. We both got the riddle wrong.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Same. Also same. Not gonna lie, same.
I'm a fucking idiot. I should have got that.
You should have got that.
I should have got that.
Yeah, honestly, that's poor from you.
Yeah, I should have got that.
You definitely should have got that.
It's kind of how you expected it to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm intrigued because it kind of left it not really on a cliffhanger like the other chapters.
No, they didn't. Which
I thought there was going to be a massive cliffhanger.
The way that Sarah J. Maas wrote this, you could finish on Acotar.
Yeah.
And you don't have to read the rest.
Yeah.
But I'm reading the rest. We are reading the rest.
Same.
So we'll start off with 37.
Yeah.
This is my summary of 37. Where we left off on 36 was Feyre had just completed her first trial with the worm and she was being taken away. And Amarantha said to her, my whole court lost a lot of money on you apart from one. My prediction was it was Rhysand that made a lot of money, and I was right.
And she was also very, very injured.
Very injured, arm broken, bone sticking out.
Yeah.
Okay, so chapter 37. Feyre lies gravely injured and feverish in the dungeon after her first trial, with no help from Tamlin or Lucian. Rhysand appears, offering to heal her in exchange for a bargain. So he originally said 2 weeks of per month for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You come to the Night Court and live with me for 2 weeks every month for the rest of your life, right?
And Feyre was like, it's not that long. I was like, what?
And Feyre she's literally dying, right?
Yeah.
She's dying.
Yeah.
And so she says, originally, I think she's like, no, fuck off. She's like, piss off. She spits at him.
She was spitting a lot in there.
Yeah. Just spitting at him, right? So she initially refuses.
Yeah.
Her worsening condition and the doubt that Lucian will come because Lucian got whipped for helping her last time.
Did she know?
She knew by this point, I'm pretty sure. And,
yeah.
and Amarantha got Tamlin to do the whipping.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Evil woman.
Yeah. So she refuses. And then, so the doubt that Lucian will come in time, it ends up forcing her. Rhysand's about to leave because she's like spitting at him and he's like, stupid human. He's about to leave and she goes, wait, 5 days. And he's like, 10. She goes, 5. And he goes, 1 week. So she says, deal.
Yeah.
And then he heals her. And so the bargain was he heals her and 1 week of every single month for the rest of her life, if she survives, she has to go live in the Night Court with him. So what it did though was, so Rhysand heals her arm and leaves her marked with a permanent magical tattoo symbolizing their bargain. And she didn't know this was going to happen.
No, she didn't.
Cheeky boy.
She's like, what the hell's this?
Cheeky boy.
And there's an eye on her
There's
palm.
an eye on her palm. Ends up helping her, by the way. Feyre realizes Rhysand's true motive was to spite Tamlin, and she has been caught in his trap.
Yeah.
So, because he says to her, she's going, get this off my arm. And she's like, why? Are you scared a certain high fae will see?
Yeah.
Or high lord?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, obviously, she's like, I don't want fucking Tamlin to know I did deal with the devil.
I've got quotes. Unless this lack of gratitude and appreciation is because you fear a certain high lord's reaction.
There you go. That's what he says.
Yeah.
Lack of gratitude is right, Pharaoh. You saved your life, bro.
I really like how Rhysand was depicted and what he turned into.
I am not going to lie. Character development on Rhysand,
Yeah.
best in the book.
Yeah, I think
best
so.
in the book.
I think
oh,
so.
maybe Pharaoh, to be fair. But second
There's
best in
one
the
thing
book.
I didn't like he did. We'll get to that.
Oh, no, there's one thing I didn't like he did either.
I hated
There's a
that.
few things I didn't like he did.
No,
But
there was one that I was like, oh, ew.
the reasons he did them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yes. Chapter 38. Feyre struggles through cruel and impossible chores assigned by Amarantha's guards, haunted by the bargain she made with Rhysand and the magical tattoo marking her. While scrubbing a filthy marble hallway, she is secretly helped by the lady of the Autumn Court, who provides her clean water as repayment for Feyre saving Lucian. Lucian is her, because Lucian's from the Autumn Court, but he's left. The next day, Feyre is forced to sort lentils from ashes she doesn't know whose room it is.
Pause. What were lentils?
Lentils?
Yeah.
I think that they are food. Lentils are like the
That's
lentil
what I
of
thought. I
food,
looked it
yeah.
up because I paused and looked up on my phone what lentils were and it
Yeah.
came up with the food. I'm like,
'Cause
why the fuck is she cleaning food out of
The
the
guards
fireplace?
said to her, she didn't know whose room it was.
Yeah.
They put her in this room and they said, one of the slaves or something, whatever, foolishly spilt lentils into the fireplace of this High Lord.
Yeah.
You clean it. If it's not clean by the time they're back, dead.
You're dead.
Dead. Literally, what? Crazy. And so, Feyre is forced to sort the lentils from the ashes in Rhysand's fireplace. We figure out it's Rhysand's. Only to be caught by him mid-task. Their tense exchange reveals more about Rhysand's powers, his defiance of Amarantha, and Feyre's growing awareness of how dangerous and manipulative he truly is. In the end, Rhysand uses his magic to clean Feyre and her surroundings, spares her from further torment, and asserts his control over the guards, leaving Feyre unnerved but momentarily safe.
Yeah, so Rhysand said, don't touch her anymore.
Yep.
She's mine.
Yep.
I also thought when we found out it was Rhysand's room, I thought they were going to have sex then.
So did I. I'm not going to lie.
But
I thought they were going to boink.
I think you planted a seed
Sorry, yeah,
in
I
my
have.
brain. I was like,
have.
it's going to happen.
I've planted a fucking gnarly seed for that.
Yeah, but nothing was sexy leading up to it, so I was like, maybe not.
No, true.
But I didn't know what lentils were.
If her and Rhysand don't ever have some sort of sexual relationship in the whole series, I'm not going to lie, not worth the read.
Yeah. They've got to too. And they're both like the hottest characters.
Yes, 100%. Tamlin's good looking, but Rhysand?
What did, at
Striking.
the end of that chapter, I didn't quite understand this. Rhysand said, I had my reasons to be out then when he went to Fire Night.
So, yeah.
Do not think, Freya, that did not cost me. Why did he have his reasons to be at Fire Night? That went over my head.
I don't actually know.
Yeah.
It doesn't get said.
Yeah. I
So
thought I
he
missed
had
something.
his reasons because he...
It's kind of like he planned to see her.
That's what I'm starting to think.
Yeah.
So it's like he knew of her existence already somehow.
Yeah.
But also he couldn't have.
But he could have because he's so powerful. I don't know.
It is crazy though. So
Maybe he saw her in the woods or something. We don't know.
maybe what... So another thing you find out about Rhysand in this chapter is... So she says... Because Rhysand is actually like quite a bit more powerful than the other High Lords. So she actually asks why. Did Amarantha let you keep some of your powers because you're her whore? Crazy to say. And I don't know, I think he says no. And he's like, which is just what's the word? Basically, he says like, no, she didn't let me keep any of my powers, which is just a true testament to what I truly am. And so she then says, do you also like, is Tamlin the only one that turns into a beast? And all the High Lords do have a shape-shifting power. They're not all just a beast. And Rhysand's is sick.
Yeah, he gets wings.
Yeah, he's got these massive talons that come out and these sick black wings, but he doesn't like having a beast face. So he keeps his
So he's still hot.
He keeps like his mad sexy body, right? Like
Yeah.
abs and shit. And he keeps his head, but then he just has wings. He keeps his muscly arms, but then he has talons. Like he just looks hectic.
Yeah, that's cool. Very
Okay.
cool.
So she finds out about him. And so then after that, he tells the guards no more tasks, like no more chores for her. And also after this, she gets 2 hot meals a day.
Yeah, they were treating her like shit until Rhysand said that.
Yeah. Okay, chapter 39. Feyre endures days of isolation and degradation after her bargain with Rhysand, receiving food but no companionship, and is eventually taken by shadowy night court servants to be bathed, painted, and dressed in revealing attire for Amarantha's court.
Yeah, this was sus.
So this was really sus. She just gets like, she's alone for days. She's getting fed, which is good. No more chores, but she's just fucking alone, right?
Yeah.
And then she gets taken by some shadowy figures to a room. They bathe her, and then they paint her, and then they just put like cloth that's covering her boobs and her vagina and barely any of her butt. And then she gets taken. So Rhysand forces her to attend nightly parties at his side, and the first one that he takes her to, she goes out there, everyone's there, Tamlin's there, Lucius there, everyone's there, right? And he says to have some wine, and Alice, one of her rules was do not drink this wine, and so he forces her to.
Yeah,
she has no choice. As soon as she sips it, gone. She said she's gone. Wakes up the next day, and she is in the dungeon vomiting.
Yeah.
By the way, Lucian comes that day. He comes in and he's like, "What have you done? You made a deal with him?" She's like, "I was dying. What? You weren't coming." He goes, "Of course I would have come." She's like, "How was I supposed to know I was dying?"
But she would have died too, because he was like, "This is the first day I could walk." So that was the first day she was going to.
Yeah, that was the first day he could walk from his lashings.
Die,
That's when she finds out about the lashings. Yeah. So basically, she goes like, "What happened?" And he's like, "You don't want to know. You really don't want to know." And she goes, "Like, what happened?" And he said, basically, Rhysand got you to dance the whole night, sitting on his lap in a very revealing way, and just to get to Tamlin. So she was drugged.
But at this point, I was kind of hating Rhysand because he was coming across as possessive, and it was alluding to making Tamlin jealous, although you didn't think it would really work. It was kind of making him jealous so Tamlin would hate Rhysand, not to build anger towards Amarantha.
Yeah.
So you're hating Rhysand, and then he came across as very possessive, and he's like, "How will I know if anyone else touches you?"
And that's why the pain.
And I was getting sus, and when he's like, "She only touched my hips,"
he would never. He was touching her all over, but she always woke up with smudged paint, so she knew she had been touched, but she was never touched in private parts.
Yeah, which
and
I was like,
she
thank
noticed
God.
that.
Yeah.
So because she would always wake up and not remember anything. Lucian finally visits her, explains why he couldn't come sooner, assuring her she wasn't fully violated and that Tamlin saw everything, but was powerless to intervene. Rhysand later performs a public execution in the throne room, killing a summer court fairy swiftly and mercifully, hinting that even his cruelty may serve a deeper strategy in the deadly game he's playing with Amarantha. So, Feyre figures out that Rhysand is actually playing games with Amarantha, but hiding it from Amarantha. Yeah.
Because this fairy that Rhysand just killed tried to escape. And when Rhysand took over his mind, all the thoughts of the fairies who helped this one and his reason for leaving, he kept to himself.
So yeah, there was more involved.
Yeah, and he kept that to himself so he didn't have to hurt more people. And then Amarantha also said, kill his mind, but don't actually kill him. Kill the fairy's mind, not actually him.
Yeah, she said, She said, like, kill his mind, and then he just kills him.
Yeah, and he just make him dumb so he lives with no mind. And he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to kill him. So he actually saved the fairy in the long run.
Pretty much,
killing him quickly and swiftly.
And lying about who else was involved so more fairies didn't have to die. Yeah.
So you're seeing his character slightly be a little bit better. But
Yeah,
you're still thinking Rhysand's a dog.
You still hate him.
Yeah.
And you don't really know yet. You're not 100% sure yet. So, and then chapter 40. Is task number 2, trial number 2.
This one's fun.
Now, the whole chapter was the trial.
Yeah.
And I just know it off by heart because I really liked this chapter, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
What have you got written down?
I wrote that, so the trial was 3 kind of levers, and she obviously is illiterate, and written on each one. What was the question to...
It was, so she goes out, everyone's there for the trial, and then what happens is the floor starts to lower.
Yeah.
And when it's lowering, what's being revealed is there's like a cage, right? and it's splitting, like what revealed, it's splitting the area that's being lowered in half or something like that. And on the other side of the fucking bars is Lucian, tied up.
Yeah, that was it.
I think he was naked too. I don't know why.
Maybe.
But basically he's tied up.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 levers, 1, 2, and 3. And the whole task is to read this passage of writing and then pull the appropriate lever to answer the question. And she can't read.
Did Amarantha know she couldn't read?
She didn't know that.
Interesting.
She had no idea.
Yeah, and the whole time I'm thinking, this bitch is going to die because she can't read.
That's what I was thinking,
And I was
bro.
like, this is so sad.
Oh, so what's happening is basically it's a timed trial because there's spikes on the ceiling that are coming down slowly.
Lucian's like, please.
And yeah, Lucian and her are going to die if she can't do it. They're both going to die.
Yeah.
And she's getting super close. She can't read it. She's making out some words. And then Lucian is yelling out, just pick one.
Yeah.
It's like, you could tell you just wanted to say, you fucking idiot, just pick one.
Yeah.
And so she goes up. This is important. With the hand of the new tattoo. She goes to pull a lever and she feels wincing pain. And she doesn't really realize what's happening yet. And then she pulls another. Wincing pain. And then the idiot goes back to pull the one she tried to pull. Pain, wincing pain. And finally she's realizing that the one she goes towards that doesn't have wincing pain is the one she needs to pull. Pulls it. Who was it that's helping her? Resand. He's now connected to her, can see stuff through the eye tattoo on the palm of her hand.
Genius.
And so then what happens is, so she was supposed to die. And she knew she was going to die until she just took the risk and Resand helped her.
She was devo that she got help. She's like, I shouldn't be here. I was like, bitch, who cares?
She kept on saying like, so he ends up entering her mind and going, don't cry.
Yeah.
Don't let Amarantha see you cry. So she has to hold strong, stay strong, stay strong. And then she weeps when she gets back to her dungeon for like hours, she says.
I don't deserve to be here.
Yeah, because just for some reason, because she thinks she doesn't deserve to be or she should be dead.
I didn't do
she's
this by
crying about
myself.
it.
Yeah.
Not that I've had any near-death experiences, but
Well, I think
You're
the fact
alive.
that she hates Resand makes it worse because he's the one who saved her. So he's like, oh, no, Resand. Yeah.
so that is chapter 41.
Bit of an L of a challenge, to be honest. 3 levers, like with a thing falling down.
Yeah.
Very
The first
classic.
challenge was actually cool.
The second, very classic.
Yeah.
Like
The third one, cool.
The second one's like a Scooby-Doo scene.
Yeah, the
3
second
levers, like what the hell?
You're giving her a 33% chance either way.
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean.
she does say that too. Amarantha says, I've only given you 3 levers. I've given you some help here.
Yeah.
But so chapter 41 is after surviving the second trial, Feyre falls into despair, numbing herself with fairy wine. Basically, from there, every single day, she comes and gets picked up because she has another full month to her next trial. She gets picked up every single day and by these night court servants, dressed up, painted. And then taken, drinks the wine, and she ends up just like...
She started looking forward to it.
She just looked forward to it because it would numb her.
Yeah, and she was like in a state of depression.
She was definitely depressed.
Because she also didn't think... She couldn't solve the riddle.
Yeah, no.
At all, and she kept thinking about it. And she's like, "Why is this so hard?"
It's so hard.
And then she was in a state of depression, and she's like, "I'm not going to win this third one." She was down on herself, and then the wine was an escape.
I think the reason she said to herself, "That second one, I should have died," and Resand helped me. So she is saying to herself, in the third one, it's imminent death.
There's
in
no
the third
chance.
one. Yeah. And so then, in chapter 4, okay, one of the times, so
when she's getting taken to be painted.
So she overhears, one of the times she's taken by Resand's shadow servants, she oversees a secret conversation between the Acotar and a mysterious creature about the King of Highbone's growing dissatisfaction and looming plans for war. The moment reveals that Resand's handmaids are also spies and that greater dangers threaten not just Feyre, but the entire mortal realm. Later, while trapped in her cell and emotionally broken, Feyre hears a hauntingly beautiful melody that stirs her soul and reminds her of love, light, and the reasons she must keep fighting. The music becomes a spiritual balm, reigniting her will to live just 2 days before her final and most dangerous trial. Do we ever find out where that comes from?
The music?
I reckon it's Tamlin doing something with magic.
Well, at the end there was a sunset. Was there music at the end too? Was the sunrise, sunset? Was the music playing? Was it the same music? No. I don't know where that came from, but also that conversation they overheard sparked something too, because she's like, everyone else is hating Amarantha as much as she is.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. And also the King of Highburn was dissatisfied with how Amarantha was treating Feyre.
Well, he was just
because
like
of the sort of overlappingness of Julian. Julian?
He doesn't give a shit about Feyre.
No.
He's just annoyed that Amaranth is wasting 3 months that they could be using to overtake the mortal realm.
Yeah.
Just to toy with Feyre. Like, he doesn't give a fuck about any of that. That's beneath him. But Feyre Amarantha hates humans so much she loves to see the torture. Yeah.
I tell you what, the riddle, I know I was wrong, but Amarantha still could have been... kills him slowly, 3 months.
Fair, you're not wrong.
Oh, no. Oh, we should have had the riddle again. I don't have it, do you?
No, I don't.
No, neither.
Okay, chapter 42. On the eve of her final trial, Feyre is again at a event, at a ball.
Yeah.
She's pulled into a passionate, stolen moment with Tamlin.
Dumb.
He comes over.
Dumb.
So Rhysand's busy over talking to some
yeah.
fairies, and she's like on the outskirts waiting for Rhysand to come get her because she doesn't like to walk around on her own, right? And everyone's got eyes on her all the time.
Yeah.
And so she sees Tamlin, but then looks away, looks back, he's gone. And then what she feels up next to her is someone come up and grazes her somewhere, like skin somewhere. And she's like, and he stops next to her, and she realizes that he is next to her, and she like grabs his hand, and then he lets go. He starts walking away, and then he turns around, small smirk, and she goes, "That means follow."
It's like when you've been getting with a girl all night, and she's like,
Let's go.
Yeah.
We're going to find a quiet place to pash. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. We're going to find a quiet place, or we're going to do it in front of everyone. Who cares?
Yeah. And I was like, you idiot.
So,
little bit of a sexy scene.
They were going to fuck.
Yeah,
they were like getting clothes off, right? A stolen moment with Tamlin only to be interrupted and exposed by Rhysand.
He was
so they fucking coughed. So they went into a small room, a dark room, and then they were getting all down and dirty, and then Rhysand just goes,
What are you two cheeky devils getting up to, you dirty dogs?
And then basically Tamlin and Rhysand both hear someone about to open the door, and Rhysand, I don't know what. No.
He told Tamlin to get away.
He's like, be a good boy and leave. He's like, what are you guys doing? Be a good boy and fucking leave.
Yeah.
And so Tamlin leaves, but then Amarantha and some crew come to look in the door, and Rhysand just starts kissing Feyre.
This is when I started to hate
Rhysand
because he like forced himself on her.
Yeah.
And the way she was describing it, I was like, ew, what's going on?
She wasn't a fan.
But the ploy in the end, and Amarantha is like, I knew this was going to happen.
So ChatGPT said it's to protect them both.
Yeah, it was to protect him. And it's sort of also building the hatred because Tamlin didn't know why he was doing it. Building the hatred from Tamlin towards Amarantha.
Well, the whole reason that Rhysand is doing all this stuff and doing the humiliating of Feyre is because he wants Tamlin to see it.
Yeah.
And he knows that Tamlin's going to hate Rhysand for it, but he's taking a risk. He's betting on the fact that Tamlin's actually going to blame Amarantha for it. Right.
Yeah.
So.
Still crazy.
Publicly humiliated and dismissed, Feyre returns to her cell, only for Rhysand to later appear and confide in her, revealing his own torment as Amarantha's prisoner and his strategic reasons for drugging but never truly violating her. He explains that provoking Tamlin's rage is part of his plan to ultimately destroy Amarantha, and that even his kiss was a calculated move to shield Feyre from worse punishment. The conversation unveils Rhysand's vulnerability, his past, and his deep concern for his people and court, painting a more complex picture of the man Feyre thought she hated. In the end, she realizes that despite his methods, Rhysand has been protecting her all along, even making a lesser bargain when he could have demanded much more. Now, one thing we find out is that Rhysand's dad killed Tamlin's dad.
We do find that out. I wrote that down somewhere. Yeah. I also like Rhysand's powers, being able to see things in a different light.
I like Rhysand after figuring all that out.
Very cool. When there's all these sly little things, he's such an intricate character.
I think he's a beast.
Yeah, his character development is definitely one of the best.
I don't like that he's kind of sexually assaulted her, but
no, not at all.
Kind of. He kind of straight up did.
100% did.
Regardless of the reasons.
Yeah. Regardless, not on, but it's fantasy.
It is fantasy, and it is a story.
So, chapter 43, the final challenge.
Bro,
this had a good kicker, Jake, didn't it? I didn't see that coming, did you? What happened?
No,
neither.
Not at all.
So I'll explain. The final challenge was 3 fairies, all innocent, came in.
Hooded.
Hooded. Told to get on their knees.
Yep.
And then an ash dagger, 3 individual ash daggers.
Yep.
Were told
Ashwood.
that- yeah, Ashwood.
We know that that's what kills fairies.
And she goes, all you have to do is kill these 3 innocent fairies.
And your Tamlin is yours.
Yeah, and I was like, score!
Yeah, same. I was like, holy shit, she's going to do it, no problem.
Yeah, I was like, Feyre's a beast!
But she was torn.
Yeah, she was torn. And so, first fairy she goes to kill. Hood comes off male. And he's like, no, don't
Oh yeah,
do
she
it."
has to take. She makes. She
has
she
to say
picks up
more.
a ash blade. She's gonna do it, and then Amarantha goes, "Wait, take this hood off."
Yeah.
So she has to look them in the eyes.
And he's like, please don't do it. The first one was easy to kill.
Please. And she's like, and then you're reading it, and it goes, and then I slowly inserted it into his chest, and I was like, shit, Feyre, holy shit, girl.
Yeah, it was going like, these fairies probably have families just as much as I love Tamlin.
And also, it's pretty well known now that fairy children, especially high fae children, rare.
Yeah.
Dying breed.
Very
For
rare.
some reason, it's really hard for them to procreate.
Would you, if you were put in the same position as Feyre, would you kill 3 people to save the one you love?
But I'm not just saving the one I love.
You're also saving all
Everyone.
of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. You don't want to have to put yourself... You don't want to have to change who you are to do it, right? But the alternative is Amarantha kills me in a split second. These 3 fairies get to live, but everyone's trapped under the Night Court. And also, the mortal lands, forget about them.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah, true.
So it's like, I'm sorry, it's these 3 fairies' lives.
Easy.
Or
Easy
everyone
decision.
else's, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was rattled, but...
She was rattled, right? So what have I got? So for a final trial, Feyre is brought before Amarantha. The task is stabbing 3 seemingly innocent fairies in the heart to win her freedom. And throughout all this, she's looking up at Tamlin, right? And he is not making eye contact with her. And she's like, weird. And he's not showing any expression. He's not showing distress, nothing, right? But he's up there. It's him up there next to Amarantha. It's him. And so then...
Fairy 2
Fairy 2.
was a young girl.
Young girl.
And she's like, do it. Take me to the place where I can live forever.
Because she just saw Feyre kill that fairy, the first one, she's like, well, obviously she's going to be able to kill a second, right? So she does start doing some sort of praying.
Yeah.
And then she's like looking Feyre and she goes, do it. Feyre's taking her time. I was like, fuck, you made it slow.
Didn't she say something like, this won't help you? Or something like, oh, this won't help you in my world.
Fucking hell. Like, just...
Yeah.
And then, she kills her.
Second one, dead.
Second one, dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, love.
And you're like, this is easy.
And then, yeah, true. I was like, okay, well, she's sweet.
Yeah.
And then, okay, when the final fairy is to be revealed, they take off
The hood.
the hood, and who is it?
Tamlin!
It's Tamlin!
I thought he was next to Amarantha.
And then she looks back up
He's gone.
at Amarantha, and it's the Ator that was shapeshifted into Tamlin, and they're all laughing, chuckle.
Yeah.
So she looks, and basically Amarantha is like, okay, well, here's the third one you got to kill. And once he's dead, he's yours.
And at face value, Feyre can't win.
Feyre can't win.
Either she lives and Tamlin dies.
And then,
But it's kind of dumb from Amarantha, to be fair.
well, that's a good point, but she thinks it was a semi-gamble from Amarantha, but
Big gamble. She loves the gamble.
she was betting on Feyre being done.
Yeah. I guess so.
So basically,
But,
okay.
yeah, but knowing how much effort Amarantha has put into keeping Tamlin at her side, even though he absolutely hates her guts, and then putting him up for collateral doesn't make sense to me at all. Even though she knows that, but even if Feyre didn't know that, what's her name's heart, we'll get to that.
Yeah, okay, so
I thought it was a dumb decision for her.
I personally also think it's a dumb decision.
Yeah.
I was too invested to think about it though.
Yeah.
So what happens is Feyre is obviously torn. She's like, do I now have to make an even bigger decision and kill the one I love to save everyone else in his life? And so she's thinking, and then she starts to think to herself like, wait, I just don't see Amarantha letting Tamlin die because Amarantha's in love with Tamlin. She's doing all of this is literally because he would not be her fucking husband, right? Or because he wouldn't sleep with her and be hers. She's like, what's going on here? And then she realizes like she's having flashback memories of all these times that people have said to Tamlin, oh, you're quite warm or something like that for someone with a heart of stone.
Yes.
And So she's like, what? No. She's wigging out. So she remembers Lucian saying it. And then she actually remembers the Acotar saying it. And what she says is like, I could have been glamoured to the Acotar where I didn't even see him, but Tamlin told me to hide. He glamoured me from the Acotar, but not the Acotar from me. Did he do that for a reason? Because the Acotar said, oh, Tamlin, for someone with a heart of stone, you're very warm, or something like that. And so she's like, is Tamlin's heart literally made of stone?
Yeah. And as a reader, we obviously just brushed over that and it went over our head.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, shit.
I was like, shit. Little twist,
yeah,
bro.
big twist.
And so she's starting to think like, well, Tamlin was doing this on purpose. The reason that I could hear all these conversations when they literally knew I was there because they can feel my fucking heartbeat from a mile away is he wanted me to hear it. And so what does she do? Picks up the ash dagger, stabs Tamlin in the heart, and it's going. And initially she goes, fuck, it's not slowing down. But then, chink. Yeah. She hits a heart of stone.
They won.
They won. And so what does it say here? Farah stabs Tamlin in the heart, trusting he would survive due to his heart of stone. And when he begins healing, it's confirmed she was right. But Amarantha refuses to honor her promise, twisting Farah's words to delay the freeing of Tamlin and unleashes brutal magical torture on her. So,
well, Amarantha was a liar.
Amarantha was a liar. So basically, she was like, I said I'd free them, but I didn't say when.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of fairies that is trying to go,
liar,
free him.
Yeah.
Free
they
them.
won.
They won. She did it. Free them. And Amarantha's like, fuck you all. She's like, yeah, I didn't say when. It could be when you're dead for all I care.
Bitch.
And then, so what happens is she literally just, because I guess in a way it means that Feyre did technically fail, she starts to literally kill Feyre.
Yeah, she's in agonizing pain. And then Rhysand comes out of his skin and was like, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah,
and tries to fight Amarantha.
She has Feyre. Amarantha comes over towards Feyre, and Feyre has one of the daggers. And she is... does Feyre try to go stab her?
No, Rhysand did. Tried to stab her straight in the neck.
That's right. Rhysand was standing there, and Rhysand tries to stab Amarantha, but
she's
just... Rhysand goes flying.
Yeah, she's like, weak.
And then basically Amarantha just like is just using magic on Feyre and just like crushing her up against the stones and shit like that, and just yelling like, admit it, you don't love him. Admit it, you don't love him. And she's just like, I won't admit it. I do love Tamlin. I will not admit it. And Tamlin can't do anything because he's like healing really slow because his magical powers are depleted. And then I think...
But Amarantha there planted the seed of the riddle as Feyre is getting like excruciating pain. She's like, oh, the riddle. And she's like, say that, what's going on in my head? She's like, the only thing that can save me now is the riddle. And then she keeps going. And say that you love her, say that you don't love her.
And also, what I'm pretty sure one of the things she says is like, the only thing keeping me together is my love for Tamlin.
Yeah.
And then she's like, so then each time she gets like smashed against the stone, she's like reading out a thing of the riddle, and she's like, reads the first line. She's like, and then eventually she goes, I know what it is. And then she's about to die and she goes, love. The answer is love. Yeah. And then, from there, because Amarantha word for word said, if you get the answer right to my riddle, immediately masks are off, powers back, Tamlin's yours, everyone's free. Fucking some of the Spring Court's masks start falling off.
Yeah, it's just drop.
And then Tamlin instantly heals. Tamlin fucks Amarantha up, bro.
Yeah.
Big time. So, after Feyre solves the riddle and Feyre dies.
Did she? I didn't think she was almost about to die.
No, Feyre is dead.
No. So she's still alive when Tamlin's beating Amarantha.
No, she's looking at it through Rhysand's eyes.
Yeah, but we don't know she's dead.
Okay.
We don't know she's dead.
Tamlin's freed from Amarantha's curse, unleashes his full power and brutality, kills her in a moment of explosive vengeance. Chaos erupts, but many fairies, including Lucian and several High Lords, step in to help stop Amarantha's forces. Tamlin cradles Feyre's broken body, weeping, while the High Lords of each court basically
So we didn't know she was dead and she's on the ground.
Yeah, so he kills Amarantha.
Yeah.
Tamlin kills Amarantha. Everything's good. All the rest of everyone just like runs away from everyone, right? All the rest of her court. And then she's on the ground and Tamlin comes over and picks her up and he's cradling her. And you come to the realization that she's dead. And she was watching it through Rhysand's eyes because of the tattoo.
Yeah.
And so she's dead, but she can still see stuff through Rhysand's eyes. And what happens is every High Lord from each court comes over and drops like this light on top of Feyre. And then Rhysand comes over. He's like the last one to do it. And he drops a light on top of her and he's like, this is basically, he's like, this is repayment for her saving everyone. And this is you and I. Like, debts are settled. Don't come after me now because I did all that shit to her to make you angry. And
that just shows how powerful Tamlin is.
Yeah. Everyone's scared of Tamlin.
Yeah.
Declaring, so Rhysand drops his power last, declaring the debt between them repaid. Tamlin, with all the magic combined and his love guiding him, kisses Feyre and lays his glowing hand on her heart to bring her back to life.
I love
Okay. Feyre is resurrected by the combined powers of the High Wards and awakens as a High Fae.
See what I said right here? I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
I got it right. I knew it.
Bro, she's now a fairy. She's a high fairy.
It was the only way to save her.
It was. Her human body now transformed, but her soul still burdened by the lives she took.
Yeah.
As she grapples with guilt and her new identity. Tamlin reassures her with love and tenderness.
I want to say what I have written down here.
Yeah.
Time to have sex.
Bro, they go and fuck.
Yeah, they go and fuck.
Yeah, her and Tamlin go and fuck. And then, so they stay in the court under the mountain.
Yeah.
And they boink a bit.
Yeah.
And then she said, so she knew they were leaving when they woke up. She was restless and couldn't sleep. And so she felt the urge to go for a walk in the mountain. And she gets to this point where she sees some light. And she walks up these stairs to a fucking balcony. Who's there? Rhysand. And he goes, I guess this is goodbye. And she goes, well, don't forget, I got to come see you once a week.
It was kind of like she wanted to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's kind of like she wanted to. It's kind of like if she was to have just said goodbye, hope I never see you again, he wasn't going to hold her to it. But he goes, you know what I think he was doing was testing her because he goes
to see
if she obviously she wants it because he chuckles and he goes, how could I forget?
Yes. And when he flies off, this was the only thing that alluded to the next book was he saw something in Feyre, had a double take, and then she's like, what'd you see? And then he's disappeared. Like something was part of her as a fairy. And you were like, oh, what is it? And then you just don't find out. And I assume that's in the next book. Yeah. Which is very interesting.
So yeah, she's a fucking high fae now and she's going to be a beast and she just says that she feels different and I think she's like a little bit bigger, I don't know.
Yeah. She's got different hands, like the clawy things. But also, when they leave the court under the mountain, Jurian's eye and bone is gone.
Yes.
And I was like, oh.
Something's going on.
That's got to play a part somewhere. Either he could come back to life. We'll get to that in our predictions. Who knows? But they go back to the spring court and she has to face what she's done.
She has to she says to herself, like, I'm high fae now. I'm literally immortal.
Yeah.
So...
what a dub.
Like, she says to herself, I have time to face what I've done, but right now is like time to rest.
Yeah.
She's like giving herself a break.
Yeah, she's like, one day I will ask about the fairies. I killed his family, but now isn't the day.
Exactly.
And you're like...
and then they smell the fresh air of the spring court and they see the manor and she looks at Tamlin and she says, let's go home, and the book ends.
Yeah. Okay. So order of operations is everyone who has been reading along, time to pull up, we use Amazon, your preferred method of ordering the book. I know a lot of you already have it, but this is fun.
Oh shit, I put the Amex on my phone so I can order it on mine.
Okay, you can do it. So what's the new book called again?
A Court of Mist and Fury.
Okay, A Court of Mist and Fury.
A court.
And we have one thing to ask of all the baddies while Jake's ordering our book is we have options for how we are going to consume the next book.
Yes.
A lot of comments have said dramatized audio.
Oh, shit.
So we will do whatever you want. If you want us to do the next book club in dramatized audio, we can do that and come with our recaps. Or do you want us to continue in the same format we've been doing reading? Or another slight option is Jake reads and I do dramatized audio because I know you like reading more.
I do like the reading.
Yeah.
I wonder if it'll be good to listen. Yeah. So yeah, a few questions. So answer those questions. We'll order 2 books regardless.
Yeah. We still want them because they look cool.
And then also, facts. And then also in terms of format of the episode, did you guys like that?
Yeah.
Was that good? Pretty in depth. Very in depth.
I wonder if it's better, less recapping, more of our thoughts.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. So like that was a lot of recap.
Yeah.
So what's would you guys prefer thoughts, like 20-minute episode of thoughts purely?
Yeah. But now the book is ordered, we have to do our predictions.
What's our predictions for the next book?
It could go anywhere, honestly. So they've got to find out that thing that Rhysand looked at the end about Feyre. So I think a lot of the next book is her figuring out how to be a fairy.
Yeah. She's true. She's going to really like come into her own.
Yeah, she's going to figure out all the differences in her powers and everything. And I think she's going to become like a beast, obviously.
Okay, I was going to say, I think she's special, obviously. And she is, personally, I think that she is a lot more powerful than the rest. Maybe not as powerful as the High Lords, but I do think she's going to be like a very, very strong High Fae. So like better than Lucian, better than all these other High Fae that we know. You know what I mean?
Does the King of Highburn still want to kill the mortals?
Yes. So here, yeah, that's where I'm going.
I'm thinking she's going to figure out how to use her powers, and her whole ploy is going to be, I reckon she's still going to become a queen of something.
Okay.
And her whole purpose is to save the mortal realm from Highburn.
Okay.
Something like that.
And she convinces all the other High Lords to help her.
Yes, and they already all love her.
She saved them.
Most of them.
They owe her a favor. Oh no, they brought her back to life.
Yeah,
Not really.
but also, so are you agreeing with that?
Look, I don't disagree. I do think that this next book is going to be...
Apparently this is the best one.
I don't think, for some reason, I don't think this book is going to be the book that Highburn is trying to kill the mortals.
Maybe it's later.
I think it's going to be later in what... There's 3 more books after this. I think another challenge arises in this book, and basically there's going to be another challenge that arises.
Wait.
Just like another thing happens, right? Maybe it is a threat from Highburn to just Prithian and not the mortal realms yet, but there's going to be so much back and forth of her going from Spring Court to Night Court. Yeah. So I think that what's going to happen is...
Because, wait, I might be reading between the lines here, because everyone said the second book is the best book. I'm thinking she's going to figure out how to fight her love between Tamlin and Rhysand. And there's just going to be a lot of fucking, and a lot of love, and a lot of dates, and she's going to choose one. And I think Tamlin dies.
Fuck off!
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Here's what I think.
And they find out that Tamlin's love wasn't real, and he was only doing it for ulterior motives to save everything.
She knows that.
Yeah, but I think he figures out for himself, and she realizes it down the track, because now she's got time, and there's not all this Amarantha bullshit around.
Here's what I think happens. She's at Spring Court. Every time she's at the Spring Court, sex scene.
Yeah.
All right? Sexy scene between her and Tamlin.
Yeah.
Could be rough, could be sweet, who knows?
Love making,
all right?
Yeah.
And then she goes to the Night Court for 1 week every month. Sexual tension building. She's going there months on end for 1 week. Each time she comes back, she's making love to Tamlin, okay? One of the times she makes love to Tamlin, she thinks it's Rhysand. Like she imagines it's Rhysand thrusting into her.
Yeah.
And then the next time she goes to the Night Court, sexual tension, too much, crazy. Eventually, they fuck.
Okay. And then my final prediction is also that Jurian's eye and the bone that was lost. I think Feyre's going to have to find that to save the mortal land.
Damn,
It's going to play.
She needs to destroy it.
Yeah,
and finally let Jurian rest.
Yeah. These are great predictions. We could write a book, man.
We really could.
I can't wait to see how wrong we are.
Okay, guys. Well, this is exciting. It's a full hour episode of just fucking 7 chapters. My God.
Yeah, but a lot of things that are new around here. So please let us know all your thoughts. And I think it's good if we both read them all and come to, in a fortnight's time, the Baddies Book Club will be here when our books arrive.
Yeah, and we will be how many chapters deep into the second one?
You want to go 7 again? Started slow.
7 seems to be good.
7's quite good, and it's slow, and it's enough to get the information out.
Yeah.
And new book's exciting.
Yeah.
And we'll also see if we want to do dramatized audio. Maybe we'll start with both. We'll
see. You. Let's actually, based off the comments of this episode, answering the question of, do you like this one where we really, really recap, or would you prefer just feelings and thoughts? if it's just feelings and thoughts, it's probably better to do more chapters and just do a little short recap and then just like feelings.
It's still very much in the air.
Yeah.
And also next week, you have a little surprise, but I'm not going to tell you what that is.
Sweet.